Welcome back to the Phil's Boardroom, where we are touching base on everything you need to know ahead of the NLDS versus the New York Mets. As always, this is Dave, and joined by co-chairman of the board, Tom. Tom, it can't get much better than this.
We made it. We're here.
We are here finally. It's been an interesting week. I've kept myself very busy.
Dude, I got crushed this week, and it feels like it's taken forever, but now it's like the fact that it's a day away, I'm so ready.
Literally a day away. So we're going to have fun this episode, really focusing in on the NLDS and the matchup with the Mets. It was real nail biter last night trying to determine who it was going to be. And in full transparency, I probably jinxed the Brewers because I was getting ahead of myself when I opened this up and started putting some notes together here. I was starting to type out a recap of the 2008 NLDS versus the Brewers. Everybody kind of remembers that. Victorino Grand Slam, I think it was his Grand Slam. And as soon as I started typing it out, Alonso hits that 3-run home run to go ahead. Pretty wild.
Yeah, I bet you probably wanted to see your boy Reese. It would have been cool.
It would have been cool.
Yeah, he definitely would have homered. It would have been against us on that. I think we would have crushed the Brewers.
I definitely think we would have crushed the Brewers.
I have a little confession.
Yeah.
I found myself kind of cheering for the Mets last night.
I
don't know why. I was there.
I'm glad it went 3 games.
Phillies, Mets.
Yeah, it is electric. It's electric. I am just happy it went 3 games. I think that's an advantage us in either scenario.
Absolutely. We talked about that enough, yeah.
Yeah, but I did want the Brewers to go, but I'm perfectly fine with the Mets, and I completely agree with you. It's going to be electric. And as a matter of fact, it's the first time ever that we faced the Mets in the postseason. We've faced the Braves, obviously, the past 2 seasons, and I think believe maybe before that as well. And then also the Marlins as early as last season, never the Mets. And
crazy. For
most of the existence, Mets came into existence in 62. They've been in the postseason 11 times. We've been in 15 times since then. And I think the only realistic time that we could have started to play them, because we've always been in the same division, was when they went to an additional wild card in 94.
Right.
And expanded that to 2 in 2012 and now to 3 in 2022. It opened it all up for us to have such a heated rivalry in the postseason. It's going to be electric.
Right up the street. It's going to be, I'm going down tomorrow, game 1. I'm actually going with 43,000 of my best friends that I've missed dearly since last year. I'm pumped, and it just brings another level to it. I mean, I don't think the division series could have worked out better with the Phillies playing the Mets and the Dodgers playing the Padres. The script writers nailed it.
The National League script writers for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be, I-95 battle. It's only 2.5 hours from Citizens Bank Park to Citi Field. And, they had some tickets for sale for face value at Citi Field.
There
so
would be Mets fans there.
Definitely take advantage of trying to get to Citi Field.
Oh, there's going to be Phillies fans.
Yeah, so take advantage of that. But protect our house at all costs.
There's going to be Phillies fans in New York. There's no doubt about it.
If you're going to lose $100 per ticket just so you can sell it to a Phillies fan, do it. It's
Absolutely.
worth it. It's worth it. All right, we'll go to recognition now. First of all, it was a pretty big day and week for us in this bye week that we have. On Twitter, we were recognized as one of the pages to follow for Red October. So I just want to send a special thank you to the Phillies Twitter community and recognize all of our new directors of the board. Thank you for that.
Sure. Not toxic at all.
And even though Twitter is a little toxic, very toxic at times, it's always great to have some new followers and some new friends.
Always fun to watch along.
Even with a little toxicity thrown in there.
And shout out, nice shirt, Dave.
Thank you.
It's our PhilsBoardroom shirts.
We did not plan this today, by the way. We did not plan this.
They're honestly so comfortable.
They are the best.
But yeah, shout out to the boardroom in Phoenixville, as always, brought this show to us all year, including the postseason. Patio's open, brand new menu dropped yesterday for
the fall.
Yeah, so I had the beef bok choy whatever soup bowl. It was unbelievable. But yeah, go check those guys out if you're in Phoenixville. I think this is the last street closure. After that, you can park a little easier. But those guys are the best.
Yeah, they are. Thanks, Boardroom. Moving on to the industry update. So we'll go through a little bit of what's happened over the past week, specifically in the wild card rounds. But even before that, Tom, there was a pretty crazy day on Monday with the Mets and the Braves.
Yeah.
With that doubleheader that was pretty electric.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it, but it kind of turned into a gentleman's agreement because, like, if they split, they both got in. So, like, after game one, it was kind of pointless.
Do you think that they actually had a kind of a gentleman's agreement?
It seemed like it.
Yeah, it did seem like it.
Yeah.
That's why they were battling so hard in that first game. That first game, as a pure baseball fan, was insane.
It was awesome. But
one
then
of the best baseball games I've ever watched.
But then right when it ended, it was like, oh, Mets are in. And it was like, oh, so it's pointless now.
Yeah.
So, of course, the Braves are going to win game two. The Mets aren't going to play anybody.
Right.
So I didn't even watch game two. Like,
yeah, I didn't either.
Poor Diamondbacks. As a Diamondbacks fan, that sucks.
It was a very hopeless feeling, I'm sure, for them.
Did you see some of the rules they put down? Like, as far as celebrating?
They could only do champagne.
They were not allowed to pop champagne until
after the first game. Yeah.
They should have let them just get drunk and then play game two. Like,
that's probably a liability for them, so that's why.
But yeah, it was kind of weird seeing them like hugging and stuff on the field, celebrating together. Is like,
do you think if the Phillies were in that situation that they would have like went out and like kind of celebrated with him and been buddy?
I don't know. I feel like maybe very briefly, but I feel like they would have dipped to the dugout or to the locker room much sooner.
I think that even though they may be friends with, and they are friends, obviously, with some of the players on the Mets and the Braves, if they were going against one of them like that in that scenario, even though they were friends, they would probably do it just to save face with us as fans.
It was kind of gross. I'm glad it wasn't us.
Yeah, I agree. So we moved into the wild card. The wild card series was set. We had, on the American League side, we had the Royals versus the Orioles. Say that 3 times fast.
Royals versus the Orioles, Royals versus the Orioles, Royals versus the Orioles.
Oh, it's not bad. And then we also had Detroit versus the Astros, and both of those series ended up being 2-game sweeps.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you?
No. I mean, that's pretty much like after our experience the last couple of years.
Are you an advocate for the 3-game wild card, or you like the days of like just the 1 game?
No, I think the 3-game for sure. Like the 1 game in and out, I hate that for baseball purposes. I
agree. I agree. I think it's good to have at least a 3-game series. It just, for whatever reason, seems to happen where it's only been 3 years of this, but more frequently than not, it's been 2-game sweeps. I don't really understand why. And the interesting thing with the American League, it was both the away teams, the lower seeds.
The dogs. Detroit's fun.
Detroit is fun.
Detroit's fun. And Kansas City's fun. Feel bad for Orioles. They had such a great year, and then they kind of tailed off at the end.
They haven't won a playoff game. They've been in 10 playoff games or 11 playoff games since 2014.
Yeah.
They've lost every single one of them.
They're so young, though. They'll be back.
Oh, for sure. They have a bright future ahead as long as they pay for the players.
Gunner's a beast. Yeah. They'll be back. But see you later. We're moving forward.
Yeah, and what's also great...
They're in Cancun now.
Now that the Tigers defeated the Astros as well... Great to see the Astros out, not in the ALCS for the first time, I think, in like 6 or 7 years.
Good riddance.
Good riddance. Cheaters. Jinx.
All my homies hate the Astros.
And then on the National League side, we had another 2-game sweep with the Padres against the Braves. I didn't watch any of that. First of all, it was late. I didn't really have the energy to do it. And from what I understand, like it was never really much of a battle, even though I think the last game went 5-4. The Padres just kind of handled the Braves, kind of as to be expected. They've been injured all year. They're went through that battle with the Mets at the end. Like, didn't really expect much from them, honestly.
It would have been insane if they somehow pulled it out.
It would have. It absolutely would have.
So good riddance Braves, good riddance Astros. Love to see it.
Love to see
it. New day.
So now it leaves us with the last wild card series, and that was the Mets versus the Brewers. Obviously, one we focused on the most because whoever the winner was for that game is who we were going to play in the NLDS. On Tuesday, game 1, the Mets jumped out pretty big. I think they won 8-4. Was a little back and forth for most of the part, and then the Mets, pulled away. A lot of people on Twitter, which can be toxic, as we admitted, and other social media, were starting to freak out. They're like, we cannot face this Mets team. They're the team of destiny. Blah 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 blah. We're basically admitting that fans are afraid of them.
Well, hand up, I'll be completely honest. I was breathed a sigh of relief when they blew game 2, because if they would have pulled out game 2 the way in the fashion they were up,
yeah,
it would have been scary.
I agree.
It would have been scary, yeah.
The way that they lost game 2
brought them back to earth.
Earth, and that's what really dragged them down for most of the game yesterday in game 3. Because they were down 2-0 all the way up until the 9th inning.
Yeah.
Top of the 9th, down 2-0, and that's when I'm like, all right.
And going against one of the best pitchers in baseball.
They were lifeless.
Williams.
They were lifeless up until that point.
He only gave up 6 home runs all year.
Yeah, and he completely choked. 4 earned runs in the top of the 9th.
But I mean, letting those 2-1, dude, that hit, that was pretty insane.
It was like a line drive, 3-run home run.
You see, like on Twitter, it was trending like double play. It was like, well, here comes the Pete Alonso season-ending double play.
Yeah, was it?
he delivered.
He did.
He wouldn't have been a Met next year if he would have hit into a double play. I mean,
probably for sure.
It's a career-changing hit.
Probably for sure. Yeah, now he has a legitimate fighting chance to stay a Met for them to pay him the money that he's probably looking for. So yeah, I guess good for him.
Hopefully we blank him and he still gets traded. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a wild series. Again, we mentioned it. Great for us that it went 3 games. Regardless, the Mets have to be gassed after this week. They have to be. They have a day off today, obviously. But
and then what do you get to do after all of this hard, tough baseball? You get to go against Wheeler.
Yeah.
In Citizens Bank.
Potential NL Cy Young winner.
Yeah. Sal, got hurt. I mean, he stayed healthy all year, though. Wheeler missed that,
it was strange, and we didn't talk about that. It was strange. He was supposed to start game 2 of that doubleheader.
Yeah.
And then, all of a sudden, he just went out with back spasms. Yeah. He didn't pitch in the wild card round either. So that was a little weird and strange, kind of out of nowhere.
It's fitting for their season.
It's true. It's true.
See you, Braves.
See ya. All right, so like I've mentioned, we are focusing on the Mets and this NLDS series. So let's get down to business, focusing in on a lens of the Phillies versus the Mets throughout this season and looking forward. So as we usually do, we'll continue to go through our categories here from a safety standpoint. As we mentioned on the episode to end the regular season, no new news on the safety front, which is an injury front, which is fantastic, especially going into the postseason.
Yeah.
Not every team can say that. It's really huge for us.
It's a long season. Everybody's going to be a little beat up. You're going to have your dings, Harper's elbow, Ranger, whatever the hell's going on. But overall, we're in pretty good shape when you look around the league.
Yeah. Especially compared to a team like the Braves, we said. So that's fantastic, especially after the intra-squad scrimmage they had earlier this week too, midweek. Nobody got injured there. And that brings us right into our delivery. During that intra-squad scrimmage, we had Harper's Powder Blues versus Schwarber's Red Pinstripes.
I like it. They should have sold tickets.
I don't know why they didn't.
Yeah.
I really don't. I know they pumped in crowd noise. They could have filled the bank.
No doubt.
Even though it was middle of the day, middle of the week, if they let up free entry, you would have let in all different types of Phillies fans.
I guess that's a whole thing, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but it would have been fun.
Fans, yeah.
It would have been fun.
Whatever.
Apparently, from what they covered, they tied 5-5.
Yeah, it was Harper, I think, had a go ahead and tie it in the ninth.
Tying home run, and then they just called it a truce.
Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
I guess everybody wins. But Cassidy also apparently homered. Again, I also heard that Weston Wilson did too. So they should have had it on TV. They should have just had Kruk just play by play, just by himself.
Whatever. I think it's the right move. Try to stay a little fresh because that's the fear. First round buys have been a killer.
For whatever reason, and Grace kind of talked about that yesterday on sports radio, and obviously we'll see how it impacts this team. I don't think it will. I
wouldn't be surprised if the bats come out a little cold. I would love to see a Schwarber leadoff home run, but I wouldn't be shocked if they come out a little cold. It's Severino. JT owns him. I think my prediction, Nostradamus, JT Real Muto home run tomorrow. Bank it. Check the odds.
So I was at the NLDS 2 years ago. against the Braves when he hit the inside the Parker.
Let's go.
So what variety home run?
Nah, he's
Inside the Parker or out?
cranking it.
Cranking
Section
it?
140.
Crank the Soldier Boy. All right. I hope so. I hope they don't come out cold. I do hope.
We'll do predictions at the end.
Yeah, I know.
We'll do predictions at
You're
the
right.
end.
You're right. You're right.
I do want to hear. Yeah, let's see if we can nail the score at the end.
Oh, we're gonna predict the score. All right, fine. All right. So now let's talk about the Mets versus the Mets specifically this season. So in total, we played 13 games. We went 7-6. Just ahead of them. We had the tiebreaker against them in the playoffs, which is so huge for us when we were trying to clinch the NL East. So 7-6 overall, but 7-3 in non-Taiwan Walker starts. This has been well reported,
Right.
as of late.
0-3 in the Walker starts.
0-3 in the Walker starts.
We showed them our best stuff.
Yeah, which made I kind of dug into this, which was interesting. They didn't really face what we would call our top 3 starters this season very much. Most of the games that we played against them were against our 4th or 5th starter. So that being Ranger, and then Walker, or whatever variety that 5th spot looked like.
Sure.
Most of the games that we played against them were those 2 spots. They only played 6 times against Wheeler, Nola, and Sanchez.
It's a good thing.
Wheeler only started one of those games, and it was the last game
one. Yeah.
on that Sunday, which he pitched really well, and we just didn't score any runs.
Right.
So that's important to note because the first 3 pitchers they're going to see in the NLDS
Are pretty damn good.
and they haven't seen them too much.
Right. Like we got guys that got Severino's number on the flip side.
It's true.
So.
Exactly. So that's important to note going into this. And also have here on the flip side, before the London series, we all know, and it's well documented how well we started. And that London series for a lot of Phillies fans kind of was the point where things kind of shifted back to the mean, I guess I'll say.
Yeah.
But since that London series, the Phillies did have a winning record of 50-47. However, the Mets ended up going on a run of 61-37.
Yeah, they got hot.
Definitely got hot.
Oh my God! Grimace, the Hawk Tua girl throwing
There are
out
a million
pitches.
things that have gone on with this team. It's absolutely insane.
I can't wait for them to do their stupid trumpets and Edwin Diaz get rocked.
So take it with a grain of salt because we slumped very hard for 2 months, pretty much in the middle of the summer, the dog days of summer. But then we did pick it back up, and I take the last 2 series with the Mets, especially the last one in New York, with a grain of salt.
Sure.
We lost 3 of 4. We knew we had full control over everything. Wasn't too much of a stress. I think that they were pulling. I do really think that they pulled back in different ways, not to go full bore heading into the postseason because they've seen where that's gotten them the last 2 years. The series before that, when we were home, when we ended up winning 2 or 3, and we were like, if we win 2 or 3, it's done deal. We're winning the NL East. That was way more important, and we shut the door on them. That I do take a lot of value in because we had a lot to play for still at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new game. This team's built for the postseason. They know it. We know it. They're ready to go. Someone's going to spark it, whether it's Castellanos, JT, Schwarber, Bryce. Someone's going to spark it, and I don't think they're going to look back. I think we're going to handle the Mets pretty. We'll get to predictions at the end. But yeah, those last series.
We just want to jump right in.
Those last series, who cares?
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people's nervousness stems from, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Was that last series?
Well, it's the Ranger start. That's all of my nervousness. But we got 3 quality starters. The Mets don't have a single ace.
Peterson is probably their ace, but it's sub 3 ERA. But other than that, it can be hit or miss. Yeah. I agree. So speaking of the spark, looking at it from a quality lens, individual players, who could set that spark? It looks like it's the daycare.
Yeah, they did pretty well against the Mets this season.
They did. Bohm hit 289, which is pretty much right on par with his season average. But obviously, a 289 average in any case is a pretty solid average, especially in today's day and age in the MLB. With 13 hits, a home run, 10 RBIs through 11 games. So he averaged pretty much almost 1 RBI per game against the Mets this season. Stott, 286. I think Stott was hit. He ended up with like 240 something.
I think it was 230, 240 range.
Average.
238 or something.
40 points higher than his season average against the Mets.
Love that.
Must be something with the second baseman and the Mets. This is a deep hatred, right? Much like his idol, Chase Utley.
Dude, I love it. I would love for this to be a coming out party for Stott.
That would be
awesome.
amazing if we've all been waiting for him to break out. Like if this postseason was his breakout party, would be great. That would be much needed and awesome. And the same thing for Brandon Marsh. I think he's hit chances to break out. He showed glimpses in the beginning of the season, deep slumps for parts of the season as well. But against the Mets, he also hit over 280, exactly 286 throughout 8 games this season. So he's hot. You're going to see him, against the righties for sure.
Right.
Be interesting to see if he's starting out there against some of these lefties, but also really good season against the Mets too. So the daycare taking care of business.
Yeah, Marsh is a baller. He's gonna show up. He lives for the big hits. All it takes is that one, and he'll let the momentum carry him. Might not be there at the end. I can see Rojas coming in defensively if we're up, but
really or Hayes, depending on the pitcher,
too, yeah.
right?
It's gonna be interesting. Rojas is gonna have some big at bats late in games. I'd love to see him deliver.
We need him to. And Bryce always rises to the occasion when the light is the brightest. And the lights are always bright when we play the Mets. And this season, he hit the best on the team, 298 average, 14 hits, 4 homers, 9 RBIs in 10 games. So, again, similar to Bohm, almost 1 RBI per game. So we get those two going. We get some of the daycare rolling. We're going to take care of business for sure. But that leaves us with 2 players that you just mentioned that could be the spark and would be great for them to start off strong in game 1 and game 2. Schwarber and Trey struggled against the Mets this year.
Good. Played possum.
Maybe a little bit of that wishful thinking.
Lead off. Do you feel it?
I do feel it. I mean, it would be electric. Coming right after this, that would be the biggest, just bottled up emotion, sigh of relief, going into that. It would just turn into a giant party.
Stadium might collapse, yeah. I was at the playoff game 3 of the NLCS 2022 when Schwarber hit that lead off. It was amazing.
Yeah.
We'll love to see it again tomorrow.
He also has a knack for the big moments, especially this year. He's been doing great things for us all season.
Been there, done that. Him and Trey.
Yeah. They'll be all right. I don't think that by the end of the NLDS we're going to come back and say Schwarber and Trey both barely hit over 200. I think that they're going to both have big series throughout the NLDS and hopefully through the rest of the postseason after we beat the Mets.
Trey might be the person that I'm least concerned about outside of Wheeler. He's got it back, and he's just had such an incredible year. He had that little downswing, but he's just so good, dude.
And he only played the Mets 7 times, so he actually didn't play them earlier in the season because he was hurt. He didn't start playing them until the back half here, the most recent 2 series that we just spoke about. So, I think that he'll be all right. Can't take too much for those series, but we'll see how they prove their season average against them wrong.
Yeah.
And show their true star power.
Yeah, I'm not sweating that. It's a completely different game. Let's move into a little bit of people. This is huge. Spencer Turnbull, started off the year was awesome, and then moved to the pen, struggled a little bit, got hurt. Do we get awesome Turnbull back? That'd be a nice little bump.
Is he going to be on the postseason roster?
Yeah, they didn't announce it yet, did they?
No, so that's the question. I think that they said when he did pitch in an intra-squad, and they interviewed him, I think it was either before or after, and he's like, better late than never, put it on my tombstone. Poor guy. Like, he keeps getting
So he
injured
did
like
pitch
this.
the inter squad.
He did, and he pitched the inter squad. He said he touched 92 on Wednesday, but was erratic and pitched only 1 inning because of high pitch count, which doesn't sound great. But
yeah, if he's not, he's got to be on the playoff roster.
well, it goes series by series.
Yeah,
So he might not be on it for the
NLCS.
NLDS, but if when we progress to the NLCS, he could be on there. So the question is Max Lazar or Lazar? They pronounce it both ways. Or Colby Allard going to take that last spot in the bullpen? Taijuan Walker's not going to make it.
No,
Tyler
please,
Phillips.
God, no.
Tyler Phillips isn't even eligible because I think they DFA'd him basically.
We need to go deep, and these guys, they do it. They've done it the last 2 seasons. The playoff lights come on, they go deep in games, and if we keep the structure of our bullpen, Jose, Hoffman, Estevez, we're gonna win.
Strom.
We're almost impossible to beat in a series when our starters go 6 and 7.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Strong.
I'd have to look up the stat, but like when we go like 7,
it's absurd,
we're dominant.
Yeah.
It's well over, I think, a 700 winning percentage, probably even closer to 800. But yeah, and Ranger is somebody that pitched as well. He started for one of the teams, and from what they noted is that he looked better. Tomper was pleased with how he looked and his progress. We have to take that at face value, right? We have to take it for what it is. We're not going to know until we see it. And the good thing is he's not going to pitch. He won't pitch until next Wednesday.
Right.
So he'd have had well over like 10 days of rest between his last start in the regular season to that point.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him. Obviously a little nervous. Love that guy to death though, and there's clearly something up. So the extended rest can only help. He might come in a stretch type of situation.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. You could, and if you go, we're assuming he's going to be the starter for Game 4.
All right.
Yeah. How short of a leash? How short of a leash he would have?
And he earned that. He
did. But it'd be interesting if that kind of turns into like a, one of those longer, like a long relief bullpen game.
2 from Kirkring, 2 from Strom.
Yeah,
which is fine.
Something like that. Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out for us.
We are spoiled, man. We are spoiled.
Yeah, we're in good shape. We're still in good shape from a pitching staff standpoint for sure.
So let's you got something here for cost.
Yeah, have a little thing for cost. It's not playoff related. It actually goes back to the regular season, unless he wears this during the playoffs. But I saw yesterday the MLB fined Bryce Harper for wearing Wawa gear during the season. Because you remember some of those games you saw him wear,
not allowed to wear sponsors.
He had
stuff?
he had like the headband and like the cleats and stuff. I don't know. They might have like a contract with like Sheets or something. I have no idea. They got fined.
Wawa recently voted #1 convenience store.
No free ads, but if you
Sheets
do want to sponsor us, Wawa, we are
like
open.
6, yeah. Suck it, Sheets. Yeah.
I had Sheets last weekend in State College. By the way,
Yeah.
I'm a Wawa guy now. Obviously living out here, it's not good. Sheets quality has gone downhill.
Bro,
even more.
Yeah, I'm sick of people that are like
it's gone downhill.
Like, oh, Sheets
Team Wawa
better.
forever.
Yeah.
I used to be a Sheets guy because I grew up around Sheets, up in Northeast Pennsylvania.
Disappointing.
Wawa is where it's at. Fully committed.
Yeah. So good on you, Bryce. What is this? The NFL, the No Fun League.
It's a drop in the bucket. Wawa's probably like, I'll pay your fines if you wear this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So let's look forward. Let's get into
We're here.
The NLDS and the matchups that we have. Vegas has us at -185 to advance to the NLCS, and the Mets right now at +150. You think that's fair?
I think that's fair. I mean, honestly, Philly was probably a little higher before, but the Mets are pretty hot.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like could
have been like -200. If we played the Brewers, it probably been a bit closer to that -200.
I would have expected over -200. Yeah, but hey, man. It's not bad money. My favorite bet in the world, whenever the Phillies play and Wheeler pitches, Wheeler over, K's, and Phillies win. My favorite bet in the world. It almost always hits, except when they give him no run support. Like the last
might be worth it for all those listeners who are thinking about what their potential bet might be. But let's talk about some of the Mets statistics over the regular season. Their bullpen, middle of the pack, statistically, in their defense, our bullpen also statistically in the middle of the pack. Ours was probably about 4 or 5 spots better than theirs. 2
all-stars on ours, too.
That's true.
Very top-heavy.
Definitely. So is theirs. But they're just over a 4 ERA. They're pretty gettable in the bullpen, and that's where especially in some of the recent series and throughout, like, we've gotten them once we got to their bullpen.
And that's what we've done on our last 2 playoff runs. We've gotten starters out.
We got to get the starter out.
Bullpens early in series, get into the pen, and our starters go deep, and that's how you win.
Yeah, and the key to that is we have to be smart at the plate.
Yes.
We cannot be too aggressive.
Yeah.
We have to wear the starters down.
Oh, man. They come out being overly aggressive and getting nothing done. It's gonna be tough.
We have to go back to our approach, and we talked about our approach to the plate all season long. Beginning of the season when we were winning so much, it was a great approach. Small ball, take what the pitcher gives you, right? Kind of approach. Don't make mistakes. Don't let them make the mistakes, right?
Right.
We need to do that same thing.
All right, so let's take a look. What we got Saturday, tomorrow. We're recording on Friday, the 5th, NLDS Game 1, 4:08 start time for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I like that, actually.
Love it.
Middle of the day, right after football.
Can get down. I'm probably going to get down there around 1.
Yes.
Chill out, take it in.
Probably me too. On Sunday. I'm going on Sunday. So we'll have boots on the ground for both games. Should be a hell of an atmosphere down there. It's going to be electric all weekend long. There's probably going to be people who are sleeping at Xfinity Live, honestly. They're just going to hide out in there.
Get your towel waving hands ready.
Yeah, practice it up.
Tell work you're not going to have a voice. Hopefully out of yelling good things and not booing. Unless we were booing the Mets. Oh, my God. Between booing the Mets
and
the
Mets,
Phillies,
it's completely fine.
I don't know how I'm going to have no voice for the rest of the week.
Game 1, again, Wheeler starting tomorrow. Game 1, 16-7, 2.57 ERA. Again, still in that contention for that NL Cy Young. Some question marks. The Mets haven't released who their starters are going to be. Their starting pitchers are going to be for tomorrow and even going through the series. Peterson, who would be their quote-unquote ace, he did pitch and close the game last night against the Brewers. Only pitched 8 pitches, so there's definitely still a possibility that he comes out and starts tomorrow. But it very well could be Severino instead, and then Peterson would then go on Sunday night, giving him an extra day.
Yeah, it sounds like Severino from what I was seeing, but
everything that I looked at, it's more likely Severino, but they haven't shut the door on Peterson yet.
And that's where JT's going to hit a home run.
It's true. So JT against Severino tomorrow. Book it.
Book it.
All right.
Chalk it up. Wheeler K's, JT Real Muto home run, Phillies money line.
I would be wild if it actually happens.
Send it. Keep this receipt.
So on Sunday, what's interesting, because Tomper said yesterday, and there's been some internal debate between Tom and I and some of the fan base over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But the number 2 starter for us is going to be Nola. That's what it's listed at right now on ESPN. It's going to be Nola, again, versus probably Peterson on Sunday. It could have also been Chris Sanchez.
Yeah, it could have been.
Over Nola.
But even, when you brought that up a few weeks ago, you made the case, and it makes sense. He's so much better at home, but
Sanchez is. It's been so much better at home.
But it's Wheeler Nola. It's our aces. Just do it. Get them as much starts as they can.
I think it has a lot to do with – I think it definitely had a lot to do with their comfortability of the time off as well. So, like, Nola's like, I can't take another day off.
You have another rest day before Game 3 as well.
Yeah. Whoever was a little more flexible with the 2, so I think that probably outweighed anything else that came into the equation.
And you're going Game 2, so it had to be Nola pitching, obviously.
I've been so caught up in this. that I didn't even think about that until you. Oh my God. Again.
Obviously.
Again. I love Aaron Nola. I love Aaron Nola, and I love watching him pitch live more than anything else in the world. So I'm very excited for Sunday.
Playoff Nola, baby.
Playoff Nola is a different Nola.
God, I can't
He's
wait.
the best Nola.
Can't wait.
He is my favorite Nola. Playoff Nola.
Let's go.
Red October Nola.
You're firing me up, Dave.
Let's ride with Red October Nola. He's gonna have a great game. I think he's gonna be pumped up. Have a great game.
So baseball all
Sunday.
weekend.
Baseball
4:08 Saturday, Sunday. Did they give it time for Tuesday?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Not yet. It'll be on Fox or FS1 throughout the entire series.
Yeah.
By the way,
We pretty much nailed that time because you knew they were going to give Yankees and Dodgers the 2 later spots. But I'm cool with it.
well, Dodgers for sure.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to be an early slot. Big market team, especially with the Mets
now.
Yeah, huge markets going after here.
This is oh my God,
so
I still can't believe it.
I agree. So we'll see what time they'll be on Tuesday and Wednesday. Very likely they're going to be after work. They're going to be prime time, probably 6-7 o'clock games.
And then Friday
midweek.
if necessary.
And then Friday if necessary back here at home.
So
with Wheeler would 100% be pitching that one again.
Oh, absolutely. So for team building, you got some intramural stuff, or do you want to just do some predictions?
Let's do both. So predictions. You want to do a prediction on what? Game 1 score?
The series and game 1 score.
All right. So let's start with series first. All right. So what I think that we win it in 4.
Okay. So they take game 3.
So they take game 3 at home, and then Ranger bounces back. He's good. He doesn't pitch for long. He probably goes about 4, maybe 5 innings if we're lucky. But then our bullpen is well rested as they've been because we pitched really well throughout the series. Comes in, slams the door shut. We win it in New York on their turf and advance to NLCS. In 4.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah?
Yeah, 4. I see drop game 3.
So we win both at home. We're both agreeing we win both at home.
I think Sanchez still goes deep, but I think game 4 rolls around. Even if Ranger isn't himself, the pen gets it done. The bats come alive. I don't think we come back home. We get a little extra rest.
Yeah, I agree. All right. That was easy enough.
Game 1 prediction. I think we're going to come out a little slow.
JT home run.
JT home run. Wheeler,
is that the spark?
Wheeler
so we come out slow? Is he going to be the first big hit?
We're going to come out slow. And then 3rd inning, JT's going to get up. Maybe Bohm's on 2nd. Home run. Crowd goes crazy. Wheeler comes in, pitches 3 more smoking innings. We finish the game, and then Trey gets we get a late rally in the 8th. And we win 5-2.
I think we come out hot. I think that we score first. We score right in the 1st inning. Not exactly sure how, but we get 1 run. We start off 1-0
in the 1st.
In the 1st.
Okay.
So get that momentum going.
Get into the pen early.
Ride that train. Then it slows down for the 2nd and the 3rd, and then the 4th or the 5th middle innings, we kind of open it up a little bit more, and we tag on 3 or 4 more RBIs. And I think we win like 4-2, something along those lines.
All right. Let's see if we know ball.
Let's see.
This is recorded now. So.
That's kind of how a lot of our games have gone, right? A lot of our games have gone that way.
I'm just hoping it's not stressful. Most of the playoff games I've gone to the last 2 years have been just like a party at the bank. But I was at game 4 when we eliminated the Braves last season. That was the most stressful game
I've
ever been
catch
to in my life. The Rojas catch with Kimbrel with the bases loaded. Yeah. Oh my God. That was, and then Strom came in.
Let's be honest. Let's be hopeful that we don't have stressful moments like that. But they probably will happen. Woo. That's why we said on episode 15, end of regular season, we have to have our mindset right because it's about to be worn down.
I don't know if I can take it. We need just a coming out party.
You hang on every pitch.
Get rid of that worry about the bye.
Agree.
Yeah.
Come out hot. Get over that hump and just take care of business.
Yeah, hump it. Yeah.
All right. So the other team building activity we wanted to do, so we talked about the intramural scrimmage. Apparently they had some type of draft.
Yeah.
They never alluded as to how they drafted. How do you think they should have drafted, or how do you think they did draft? Do you think it was like recess style?
They
like
definitely. I feel like they definitely just drafted like their homies, like 1-1.
Who was the last pick?
Stubbs.
Like how? If you were to think about that, like if you were the
I'm
last,
taking Cody Clemens over Stubbs.
Well,
no,
for
no,
sure.
because you need a catcher. Oh, so he's definitely the last pick because whoever picked Real Muto, or what if you drafted Real Muto and Stubbs, so then the other team didn't have a catcher.
Those two probably, like, once one was picked, once JT was picked, they're like, all right, Stubbs, you're over here.
Right.
That was probably pretty straightforward. But like, think about it, like you're on going to the playoffs.
When was Ranger?
You're like you're debating on whether or not you're going to be on the postseason roster or not. But like, what if you're the last pick? Like, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, like Walker. Just
Yeah, you know what? You're right. It's Taiwan. Taiwan was definitely the last pick. Definitely the last pick.
They're like like looking down at your shoelaces, like.
oh, you're here, Taiwan. Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, sorry, bro. Didn't see you there.
So, what other fun ways do you think that they could have picked?
Completely random, so that like nobody has a catcher, or like all pitchers versus fielders.
Well, like for their fantasy football draft, like they did closest to the pin.
Who do you think were the top 5 picks?
All right. Well, it was
because Bryce and Schwarber were
the captains. Trey was a top 5 pick.
Trey, Real Muto,
Bohm,
for sure. Did they draft pitchers too?
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
So Trey, Real Muto,
Trey, JT, Wheeler,
Nola,
and then I would probably say Bohm. But you got to
yeah,
maybe Hoffman or probably Hoffman could have been on there.
Probably pissed if he didn't get picked top 5. Like he probably
That's a tough question.
Act like he didn't care, but he was
That's a
probably
tough question.
This had potential to hurt some feelings.
That's what I mean.
I didn't think about it.
That's what I mean. Is it going to pull him apart? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, now we ended in a tie. Everybody wins. They're like the Mets and the Braves hugging.
That's when you get really bored with this week if like WIP was like, is how they picked the interim real scrimmage going to tear the team apart?
God, radio.
Let's debate.
Radio's the worst.
They also could have done it by like a dance off or something ridiculous, or like karaoke, like judging karaoke, like who sings the best,
or like a 40-yard dash, 40 time.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Trey got the best 40 time, or Rojas,
or they line up.
You know, Trey's the fastest, like from base to base. I think in baseball.
Is he? He's faster than Johan?
Sure, yeah.
I know he's really fast.
Like base to base. Like that's not like, it's a different.
He's just so smooth. He's different. He's mastered base running. Well, the skill of base running, the intelligence of base running is questionable sometimes, but
he's so slippery. He just slides around. It's crazy to watch. He probably has the prettiest slow motion on the team, without a doubt. Actually.
The way he slides is smooth.
Yeah. It's just
incredibly smooth.
His swing is so pretty. His hair is so pretty.
All right. Well,
not as good looking as JT, obviously.
Okay. Well, we know your picks. We know your picks, Tom. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun down there at the bank this weekend. Bring everything you've got. Make sure if you are selling your tickets, do everything you can to sell them to a Phillies fan. Do everything you can.
And as always, fuck the Fets. Go Phils.
Fuck the Fets. Go Phils, baby.